So many issues today, but you did not speak about Mr. Mulcair and where you stand on his leadership.
Because I think that would be presumptuous and inappropriate. Tom Mulcair is speaking to the convention tomorrow morning. Delegates will be listening to him intently and coming to a conclusion about the way they want to vote. It would be wrong for me to usurp that moment in time, and I did not speak about it deliberately.
Did you have any communication with Rachel Notley over the past 24 hours?
I waved at her when she took the platform. No, I had no communication.
Do you think it might have been appropriate in her town to talk about your address to her comments, asking for pipelines and asking...
But you know, I understand what the Premier of Alberta is dealing with, and I have complete respect for it, and I know she's tussling with all of these arguments, and I'm waiting to see the budget, because I have a feeling that the budget will show some significant green energy components, which will make the integration of the LEAP manifesto, so-called, and the work she's doing compatible, far more compatible. There will always be a tussle around the question of fossil fuels and pipelines. It has become the international issue of the day. I still spend most of my time on international work, not on domestic Canadian work. I feel a little disembodied when I come to an NDP convention, and I know internationally that that's the issue.
But when you referred to consternation, you said, I know there is consternation within the party. Are you referring to a division that has sprung up around the LEAF manifesto and the remarks of yours and Ms. Notley's?
Well, I think rather differently. I mean, you're the media, you will put the interpretation on it that you wish. But my sense is that the party is beginning to understand that there are no absolutes here, that what is said in the manifesto is thoroughly debatable and can be utterly rejected or can be embraced in part. So there's nothing dogmatic about it. It is a document which is meant to engender serious intellectual debate at the riding level and beyond over the next couple of years on the issues which animate humankind. We're all dealing with global warming. It is making a huge change to the lives people lead, and it has to be discussed. And that's what the manifesto does.
Mr. Lewis, how does this experience compare to the waffle?
Oh, the waffle was very different because the waffle was an internal group designed to subvert the party. This is just an internal debate within the party.
But
so
what does the LEAP manifesto do that the NDP platform did not do?
I think it introduces a dimension of pulling together a whole variety of issues into one document. Aboriginal rights, grotesque inequalities, a caring society, the caring professions, the question of pipelines and of renewables. It brings them all together in one document and makes it possible for the party to think these issues through. I find it personally exciting. I love this kind of intellectual disputation, and I don't think it should traumatize the party to have it.
But Mr. Lewis, do you think that Thomas Mulcair has to embrace the LEAP manifesto in order to survive tomorrow?
No, I don't. I don't think he has to embrace the LEAP manifesto. I think he may be inclined to feel that encouraging this kind of debate within the party is a positive thing, but I don't think he's under any obligation to embrace the manifesto. The manifesto itself says, give us a couple of years to talk about the issues. We're not asking you to embrace it. We're not asking you to reject it. We're just saying, think seriously about it. And I felt today, in framing it as I did, that I was trying very hard to convey to the Premier that we agreed with her, that the jobs are sacrosanct. They are the centerpiece. We cannot fool with jobs. There has to be a way of creating sufficient alternative jobs if the investment in oil and the dollar continues to drop in terms of the expenditure per barrel. If that continues to happen and Alberta continues to hurt, then we want to help find alternative jobs.
Then how do you explain the difference of opinion, sir? Do you feel she's not getting the message, or what?
No, she's in such a, this is an astonishing coup she pulled off to become a government in Alberta. My God, when I came to Alberta before we were a government, I had to have a visa to come to the province. It wasn't easy. And you suddenly have Rachel Notley, Premier with a large majority in the legislature, and a media which is pretty hostile at times, and a legislature which is cantankerous at times, and an economy which sank unexpectedly, dramatically, and instantaneously. So naturally, I mean, I suspect that if I were in a similar position, I never would be, but if I were in a similar position, I might well have similar instincts. And I guess my instincts are formed by what I see internationally, what I see every country now grappling with. And naturally, it's important in Alberta because of the oil sands.
Because of the divisions.
Your way, then,
No,
sir?
it has nothing. She's not under. She's coping with a lot of pressure, and she's come to a conclusion which differs, but it is a conclusion which is debatable. Which is, I absolutely. I don't know anything. I have no insights. But listening to her on the platform today, I suspect that when the budget comes down, there will be a very considerable amount devoted to green energy, devoted to the kinds of things that the manifesto talks about. So surely that is sort of a rapprochement.
But because of the divisions encouraged by you and by Avi this weekend on this issue, why would Canadians not? Because that's what we're. What's consternation then?
That consternation is that there are some people who wonder about it. But what is this division? You see the way you
Let
want.
me ask you, why should Canadians not wake up, read the paper tomorrow, and say, where are the NDP on pipelines now?
Well, they will presumably see when on Sunday morning there is a debate and a vote, and they'll get a sense of what happens. It's not so difficult. Your wish to frame it as a battleground seems to me to be unworthy. It's absolutely true that at an NDP convention there are always people who have questions, qualms, consternation about the debate. I went through it for 16 years in a parliament. I saw it every time I was leader. It didn't discombobulate me. It didn't traumatize me. That's the nature of the Democratic left. They love to tussle around issues.
But why not talk to Rachel Notley before these remarks?
Well, excuse me. I came in at 2 to 3 in the morning, and I wrote. Well, I put together what I wanted to put together today. I came in and listened respectfully to Rachel Notley because I wanted to hear what she said, and I didn't feel that what I said was raising any red flags. I felt that what I said was an effort to agree that jobs are the centerpiece and that we were determined to protect them as the Premier's determined to protect them.
Can I just ask you? Can I just ask you about the?
Sorry.
Rachel Notley is afraid that this is going to feed the critics, give them ammunition. What do you say to her about that? She's worried that the Conservatives are going to use this to attack her, and that puts her at risk of losing access to power that she has now.
Well, I think that Rachel Notley, as Premier, can dissociate herself significantly if she wants to from whatever conclusion the party comes to. I mean, she is a person of note and power in this country. And if she decides that in some way her work is compromised by what has emerged at the convention or what has been said, then she can say, I dissociate myself from it. And the Tories will then have great difficulty pinning her to the wall.
Do you acknowledge that the manifesto could be used by Conservatives to go after her? Or anyone else for that matter?
Forgive this slight detour. I spend most of my life in the last 6 months dealing with sexual violence committed by United Nations peacekeepers in conflict situations. And we're always told, don't be too tough on the United Nations for their inability to deal with this, because the Republicans will use it to go after the United Nations. You always run the hazard or the risk, whenever you take a stand on anything, that it will either be distorted or misinterpreted or used. My feeling is that the Rachel Notley I saw today, by the way, I campaigned with Rachel Notley's father. I knew Grant, and we shared platforms together, and I mean, it is remarkable just to see the strength of the daughter mirroring the strength of the father. And when I heard Rachel Notley today, I thought to myself, my God, this is an accomplished politician. This is a politician who can handle herself in any adversity. I'm not worried about her dealing with the things in the party or the stands that are taken. She'll handle it.
What does it say about the NDP? What does it say about your NDP that this is that even debating LEAP or discussing LEAP, bringing it up this week like it is seen as a battleground issue, that it's seen as something that people shouldn't be doing?
You know what? You raise a very interesting point. It may speak to some of the, I got to be careful here not to offend the entire party, but it may speak to some of the vacuity of policy, which has from time to time worried left-wing parties. You know, you always reach a certain moment in time where you want to redefine where you're going, what you're doing, what the important issues are that reflect change. And maybe we've had a certain hollow moment. Maybe we haven't had enough to drive us forward. The last election would seem to indicate that. So maybe we need something that we can chew on more distinctly, more thoughtfully, and emerge. I think it's, as I say, look, I wasn't kidding at the end of that speech. I really am over the hill and out of it, and I understand that. I resent it, but I understand it. I don't understand how I became 78 years old. There's a profound injustice at work. But I genuinely think that this kind of thing re-energizes a party, makes the party feel good that they have something to chew on intellectually, and some of them will discard it, some of them will take it, some of them will be mad as hell, some of them will feel energized. I don't want to compromise Rachel Notley, and you know, I just don't think we are. I think she's too damn strong. She was really, really impressive.
Asa, I know you can't.
Sorry,
you're
this
not,
is
I know
the
you're
end.
not
We have to
commenting
get
on the
Louis to
leadership,
another
but
engagement. I'm
what's
very
your
sorry.
advice
do
for?
it.
Sorry, we have to get
What's
go.
your advice for the you know, if there is a, you know, if Thomas Mulcair stays on tomorrow, if there's going to be a leadership race, what's your advice for the leader of the NDP going forward?
I have no gratuitous advice for the leader of the NDP.
What do they need to do?
When I leave here tomorrow, I re-enter the shadows of obscurity. It's quite wonderful. Come on, and that's
Thank
it.
you very much. We need to vote this week here.
Do you write your own speeches, sir?
Pardon?
You write your own speeches?
Come on, what kind of question is that? He obviously does. I could never.
Actually, I never write a speech. I wrote this one because I was
occasionally. You write them occasionally.
occasionally, but not very
The ones
often.
that count.
Maybe one out of every 10 or 15, because it's important. I didn't want the words to be misplaced,
I was watching with a few people deciding we were coming up with bumper stickers,
which were
like Neanderthals roaming the landscape. That was a, you know, shameless vacuity or whatever. It was all good. It was all bumper stickers. Needed a very
Okay.
wide car.
It's very nice of you people to put up with all of this, and I wish you well.
Thank you very much.